Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations Committee. A quick look at the roll. We have Councilmember Hauser, Rutherford, Taylor, Withers, and Young. We have a quorum. We have 3 items on the agenda, 2 on second reading, 1 on third. The first item, BL 2020-454 by Van Rees and others, amends the Metro Code of Laws to prohibit bullying in all Metro government services, activities, programs, and facilities. I'll make a motion on this for purposes of moving it. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. Councilmember Van Rees.
Yes, I have a quorum today, so that we can go ahead and proceed with
Yes.
this. I know that Director from the HR department had sent an email. Sharon Hall sent an email, I believe, to you as well.
Yes, and that was distributed to the members.
Okay, good. So with that and with the amendment, I believe, do we need to move the amendment? Mr. Cooper is already attached.
I think the amendment is already on the bill.
Okay, cool. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them, and otherwise, I ask for your support.
I do support it.
Councilmember Hauser.
Is, how do we enforce this? I mean, what's the result if someone is bullying? What happens in any of these situations? But the reason I asked that is a lot of times we pass very wonderful bills, but there's really no punishment, so whoop-de-doo. So what happens if somebody is found in this situation?
Well, I know that Director Hall can address even after this meeting the procedure in which the accusation process and the remedy is regards to their policy. But this would underscore not only an anti-bullying policy for youth at all of our different areas of where people are gathered in the public, but also what already exists with the members of staff of our departments. And so there was early on, as the LGBTQ caucus brought this up, because of some concerns from our LGBTQ youth in Nashville that brought us to our attention. And in addition to that, we realized that not just youth are bullied, that all kinds of people of different age groups are bullied. And so even though it doesn't say youth in it, that's where it came from. And so as in regard to punishment, remedy, that would be in the Department of the Human Relations folks to make the determination.
So does that mean that it might be different depending on different groups that this happened with?
No, you'd have to talk directly with Sharon Hall about that. I believe Mr. Withers has some experience in it.
One of the, I saw a clarification from Director Hall about that. What this legislation does is it requires to have a policy and to conduct training within their departments, although that could look different in each department. But it requires
so it's requiring each department to set a policy.
That's right. So
and when they set their policy, within that, it would tell what the repercussions would be?
It would, yeah. It would be within that. Now, if we're talking about a member of the public, that's a little bit different, but it requires each department to have a policy, although each department's could be a little bit different and their training could be a little different, but it just requires that they all have a policy. Mm-hmm. And then for a lot of personnel matters, other than civil service matters, discipline and things of that nature are actually set by the authority of the department director anyway. So that, again, there's some level of discretion, but what this legislation does is require that each department have a policy pertaining to bullying without stating what it is specifically. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. Thank you for that explanation. Do we have any other questions from the committee or any further comment from?
Councilman Young just reminded me to remind you all that this already exists in the public school system.
Yeah.
And so we're parroting that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
I believe both there and from the Human Rights Campaign
Okay.
as some of where the language is from.
Okay. Any further questions from the committee? Then are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Thank you, Councilmember Van Rees.
Thank you for the opportunity.
The next item, BL 2020-494 by Stiles. I do not see Councilmember Stiles, and she's the only one listed on here. Do we have anyone else on it that you know of, Director Cooper? Okay, well, we have one other item, so we'll move that one to the heel for now and see if she shows up. Then the third item, this is on third reading, BL 2020-461 by Toombs and others, creates the position of Chief Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Officer and Workforce Diversity Manager. I'm also the Councilmember Toombs, but I'll make the motion. Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. This was built into the budget, and so it's, you know, this is just the action we need to take to move forward with that. So if there's not any further question or discussion on it, we're ready to vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. And that passes. We're back to BL 2020-494 by Stiles, who is, of course, still not here. So Director Cooper, by rule, does that defer one meeting? Okay. Do we know if that one's on another committee that could still move forward, or do we know?
If there is a deferral from a committee, then it's automatically deferred.
Okay.
It's in public safety.
Do we need to vote on that deferral? Or is it automatic?
Yeah, it's automatic.
It's automatic, okay.
And it's my understanding that it was going to be deferred anyway. I think Mr. Jameson can confirm that.
That's correct. She would like us to track the other Councilman Rosenberg legislation.
Okay. All right, then automatic deferral on that one then. Okay, great. That completes our calendar. Does anyone else have any other business before the committee? Any of the other members? Questions, comments, concerns? I will just remind everyone before we adjourn the committee that we do have a rule change tonight on the floor. It also goes before the Rules Committee, and it's sponsored by me, and it affects this committee because we're adding the word veterans to this committee, because the Veteran Service Office, of course, falls under HR, and so we want to recognize that. And so I'm just mentioning it for the purpose of your knowledge and to look for that on the floor. It's not that we would look at any additional issues, it's that we're just recognizing through the name of the committee that this is the committee that veterans issues would go to, which we would anyway. It doesn't change or the business that would come before us. We're just recognizing it in our title. So, all right, motion to adjourn? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.